everyone, my name is Juan Sebastian. I am an electronic engineer and I've been working as a data scientist at Equinox since maybe 1 year. And my interest with artificial intelligence started maybe during the quarantine in 2020. And some friends from the university told me that they were working with artificial intelligence and developing some machine learning models. And honestly, I didn't know anything about this field, not even the most basic theory. So I decided to learn about this field just by my own. I took different online courses about not only the theory of machine learning, but also to reinforce my code skills in Python, the language I used to code. And finally, after a lot of hard work, I started to work at Equinox. During the quarantine in 2020, I remember I received an email from my university inviting engineering students to participate in the IBM IEEE challenge. A friend from the university, she told me that she needed another member for her team. It was a very good opportunity since there were many training sessions on some IBM tools that could be used to develop the proposal. And also, this is one of the main reasons I agreed, that is, participating in a challenge is always important. We were 4 electronic engineering students at that time, so I knew that in addition to having fun during the challenge, during all the process, the final result, the final work could be quite good. So I think that the main reason I agreed to participate in this challenge was that I had an excellent team. There were 2 different challenges. We could choose either. The first one was to develop a proposal to directly attack the global problem of the climate change. And the second one was to develop a proposal to attack a completely new challenge at that time, the COVID-19. For this, we had to use certain IBM tools, including, for example, the IBM Watson services. Finally, we decided to go ahead with the problem of COVID-19. We developed a first prototype of a tool that would unify all the health services in a country, so that from a single application or a tool, people could request, for example, an ambulance in an emergency. And behind it, the tool will have a database of people's health services, as well as another database of clinics or hospitals to which that person had access depending on their health service. And then the application will have access to that person's GPS to be able to locate the clinics to which this person has access, and thus be able, in this case, to request an ambulance to the closest clinic to that person. All of this controlled with a small chatbot that required the necessary information to access the information of this person and to be able to grant the service that I just mentioned. And finally, we developed a small web page as a prototype, very basic chatbot with IBM Watson, and we made a video recreating how and when the tool or the application will be used. At that time, there were several problems. The first, working with 3 other people completely remotely. There were a lot of things to do, and at that time the pandemic had just started, so we were not so prepared for that. Another of the biggest challenges was learning to use all the IBM services. Despite having training, sometimes it was difficult to understand or follow certain steps. Plus, the documentation of certain tools was a bit confusing because it was already old and the tool had at least changed its appearance. So we had to do trial and error to be able to deploy the tool and the chatbot that we used. I feel that this can be a great lesson when making changes to pages, applications, tools, whatever, in which you have to follow a large number of steps. Updated services or products should be released at the same time as their updated documentation, and this helps a lot, and I'm telling you this by experience. After sending our proposal, the video, the URL of the page, and the GitHub repository with the codes we made, We wait for about 2 weeks to know the results. After that, we received an email with a qualification rubric. 5 different people rated the originality, the effectiveness and efficiency of the proposal, the viability and social impact, the use of IBM technologies, the design of the presentation, and finally, the scalability. At the end, we were the group that obtained the most points in total, which gave us the first place in the challenge. I remember that one of the prizes was a consultancy with Diego Noriega, one of the co-founders of Torre Negra Accelerate, a virtual accelerator. If that last name sounds familiar, it is because another of the co-founders is Alexander Torrenegra, a shark in Shark Tank Colombia and founder of Torre, another big company worldwide. The talk with Diego Noriega helped us to know the next steps to achieve a good prototype. That included maybe talking with IBM to improve our account to get access to all the services they offer. Also to talk with the government of our country, first to talk about viability, and second to get access to the health services database, if there are any database of that. Unfortunately, we didn't continue with the project because we were finishing our career and I was finishing my internship, so we didn't have time to continue. We couldn't participate in the IBM worldwide contest, in which the prize will be about $200,000 to try to create the proposal that people made. One of the big problems we had was that we didn't know all the services IBM had and how to use them. I think that it's important always to ask for help in the training session or in the developing part. Also practice using those services, even the issued ones. I am saying this because a lot of teams quit. I don't know the specific reasons, but I know that it was confusing and complicating to use everything that IBM gave us. However, I think that the real advice or the good advice is to take the risk to try new things. People usually lose a lot of opportunities, for example, with this kind of challenges, thinking that it is too hard or they won't have any opportunity of winning. So the advice is to take the risk. I think that, for example, learning new things is the biggest prize. Bye everyone, thank you for the opportunity. See you later.